G'day all, welcome back to Where Eages Dare build. Okay, when I last spoke we were talking about the interior and building up the interior in the form of the movie version. Okay, so what I've gone ahead and done is, there it is. Excuse me for a second, I'm actually looking for a part to show you. Okay, there it is. Two chairs. This is what comes with the kit. These are just two little bench seats. There's a backrest to them as well. And they're meant to sit in the main canopy area, the main area, like that, or up against the wall, but they're isolated. As in, you got one there type thing, and there's another one there. So, I turfed that idea, and I'm already starting to regret that decision. I'm going ahead and scratch building new seats. Looking at the movie, at the end, you can briefly see the seats that they're actually sitting on. It's actually looks like a wooden bench of some sort. And counting up, there's about 5 slats there. So there it is. It's all basically scratch built from, was it 20 by 20 thou or 0.5 by 0.5 millimeter evergreen strips. So that's one bench done. There's some parts for the next bench. What I'm doing is I actually cut 10 of these to length, put them together, tape them down, then went and removed every other one to create the spacing. That type thing. However, I've now got to do the same process for this set. It was easier with the other set, because all it was is to put all 10 pieces together and just pull out every odd strip to create the spacing. So now I've got to figure out another way of doing this without wasting plastic strip. Then I cut to size horizontally, some cross beams, whatever the woodworking term is for it, like that, to create a bit of structure, then some diagonals to reinforce it. I'm using, I don't know what size they are, I just rated my scrap bin, round rod, cut to about, I think it was 6 mil high, to create legs, glued them onto every odd one, and then inserted it, and just using a bit of manhandling and just glued it all down. So that's one side done. So I'll get onto the other side shortly. What else I've done is basic cockpit is done. That's the throttle quadrant, instrument panel. There's a back area here which I'll put on more towards the end when I seal up the fuselage. But this used to be the old platform that the rear gunner stood on with the gun that's at the back spine. This version doesn't have it, so I'm not going to worry about it too much, but I'm just going to add that piece in there just to reinforce the fuselage. I've added some plastic strip along the edge, this edge here. Reason being, when I mated it, and if it's going to work for me today, because I've gone and done some modifications here. Yeah, I got. Okay, when I joined it together as a dry run, I found a gap along there, so I filled the gap. Because the way it's moulded, the wing shoulder here has a gap that protrudes through as well, so I've filled that with plastic cut as well, or plastic strip. My goal is, when I run glue along here and squeeze it together, it will not reinforce, what's the word I'm looking for, melt and fill in the gaps. So this plastic strip here I expect to be reduced in length, in size as well. And while I've just been playing with there, I cut some kit sprue off to reinforce this part of the fuselage, and that's what I was just trying to get around. Looks like I've got to trim a few pieces because when I put this all together, I found I had a bit of an alignment problem with the parts. So I thought I'd put some strips of sprue in there just to found my problem, just to reinforce it so that when I put it together, if I push on that, it's not going to break the joint. But it looks like I ran into a bit of a problem, so I've got to fix it up before I go much further, and I'll just see what the problem is. You can see there as well, the thickness in the moulding is different. So one side is thicker than the other, so I've got to fix that up. Okay, this part here is an extra kit part. You can't really see it too clearly. There you go. That's actually supposed to be a cargo door, so what I've done is glued it in place. It's very, very weak. You can actually start seeing that's a seam there where you actually break it if you want to position the door open. So I've had to putty it. I've hit it with white squadron putty, then some, where is it? Mr. Surface 1000. Just to fill it in there, sand it back. And hopefully that will be enough to hide the mold in there, and also to reinforce it. Okay, that's it for this update. I've rambled on for too long. So I'll get back into doing this very shortly. So hang on, before I go. The instructions do not have this part in it. I think it's actually a part that you don't use. And I just can't see it right now in the instructions. Okay. Here is the hole for the gun mount. As I mentioned, this kit's actually designed for a gunner to be in the back. Both versions that the kit has a gunner in the back, so that's the position of the gun there and there. But this is sort of like a civilian version if you like. So I've had to fill that hole in, and the kit does come with this part here to put over that hole. So you don't have to do any filling or any moulding there. It fits nicely. So Italeri must have been thinking something with this kit to produce a civilian version or a version that didn't have the machine gun at the backs there. So that's it done. Too easy. All right. Enough talking. More building. See you soon. Alright, still working on the Where Eages Dare Ju-52 build. Just finished putting in the second row of seats. And they are not straight. They are crooked as anything. Even though I cut all the legs to approximately the same length, key word there is approximately the same length. It didn't work out, so you're not going to see much realistically when it's closed in. So if you give a look, you're going to be seeing what's through that doorway, which is stuff all, bugger all. So that's all you're going to get to see. So all that hard work is for naught. And yeah. Okay, so I have powered on even further, and once again, powering on, I have made a lot of mistakes. Okay, so I'll do the other side, it's the easiest. Windows here are a complete piece. They were kind of a tight fit, even though I thought I trimmed them up properly. They didn't go in properly, so I've got smear marks all over it where I put glue. The glue's run over to the plastic instead of staying at the groove. That's okay, I can polish that out with some polish kits. The other thing too, and I should have picked this up before I started hacking gluing, and it's caused me a few headaches. This piece here was cut out of that window there. You can just make out there, you just make out the piece that's glued in there. It has a hole in the middle. The hole is there because of, once again, this is a military, not a military version, but a version that allows machine guns to be stuck out everywhere. So that's what that hole's there for, is for machine guns. So I basically had to cut that section out of what I've glued in and stick that piece in. So the kit comes with a few spare pieces. You get 2 of these, 3 of these square pieces spare. No, sorry, 2, that's right, that's only 3, that's for the door. So you get 2 of these pieces spare, and 2 of these angle pieces without holes. There's 2 more there with holes. There must be for other versions. So I've cut out, and I've almost gone to the other side. You can just make out the white lines of the plastic there where I've almost cut the window out altogether. So hopefully I can fill that in with some putty later on. So that's that side, and the other side didn't have a angled window, it had a square window. So same thing again. Cut. This time when I was gluing it in, I went, okay, got to replace that piece first. Cut it out, glued the 2 pieces in, glued the other spare piece that was in, and once again, in my rush, I've got fingerprints all over the inside. That's okay, I can fix all this up once the glue dries, which will be about 24 hours time. And that's about it. This is almost ready for painting, so all I've got to do now is to mask up. I'll put the seats in, mask up, and paint. Mask up the windows after I've sanded them flat. I'm not going to go too far with the windows at this stage. I may, on the inside, use some either Future or Humbrol Clear gloss varnish on the inside, just to improve the look of the windows from the inside. And I'll do that on the outside after the masking has come off. A tip that I've learnt the hard way: don't use either the Humbrol Clear varnish or the gloss clear varnish or the Future stuff. It's pledged one go here in Australia. Don't use it if you're going to be masking. The tape, and I use 2 different tapes. I use a Tamiya tape and this Delicate Surfaces Scotch Blue. What is it? There it is there. It's almost very low tack. Both of them are very good. They don't lift up paint, but what I've found is using either of those varnishes, it leaves a residue behind. You actually see where on the model the tape sat. So if you use several strips to cover an area, you've got several marks in there. That's due to the varnish from what I can tell. So that's a tip. Don't use the varnish until ultra last. Probably best off going with the your acrylic clears or your lacquers or something like that, just to cover up for the time being. Okay, that's it. Enough of me rambling. I'm going to put this down because that's now got to dry. Oops, 2 pieces I can throw out now. Talked about them. And I'm very close to the wings. The wings were okay. As you see there, a bit of putty I've got to do. I still got this, the flaps here to put down, but that's okay. They can go on later on in the kit. And that's it. This kit is motoring along quite nicely, or flying along if you like in the terminologies. And yes, I'm just playing around. Okay, that's it. Till next time.